be like 4 months ago. Are you getting me? Yeah, it's going to be a buzz, but then again, it went down or something like that. If you look at the governor of Anambra State, not supporting our candidate, it shakes outside mostly, not even in the southeast. It have effect outside southeast. Are you getting me? People like, oh, this one that even the people are not supporting him. But now, if you look at it, the former president of Nigeria coming out supporting P2B. He's an international figure. It's even in terms of annex, that tells annex something. You can't just rig this election and go free. This is my person. If it's to go to any level, we know the people, we know whom to call. These are the things. They know the international people that's going to monitor the election. So this is beyond the local standard. Obasanjo is not. That's why I want people to understand the level of boost this is given to our party. And looking at it, our candidates, if I may say, and when you look at it this way, some of these people, like somebody like Chasolodo, some of these people are people that benefited from former presidents. So some of them cannot speak when the boss speak up to today. So look at it in this way. Now he has come out. Some of these big wings, even in the north, in the south, in the west, in any way you may think of it, some of them now have known that, yes, this game is no more a baby game. The things have changed. Some of them cannot even come out now and make like a Chazolodo making part one and maybe part two, claiming of part two. He's not ashamed because some of his supporters or some of the people that he knows that this president is a candidate for this president, our former president. So you can't just come in and try to rubbish it. So before you do anything, think twice. Are you getting me? So it's a very, very big boss for our candidates. And look at the timing. Are you getting me? So that's why I said these people are master in this game because he knows the best time to do it. So even these 5 governors, we don't know where they're going, but let us focus on the letter. So the letter is a very, very big boss because people are saying there's nobody, no big wing is supporting him, not this. If you look at all those things, so things are coming up. The Obasanjo has come out and the people are now discussing about our candidates. So you see, he's going to be the person to be discussed nationally throughout this week. So let me just put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I can see our guest is here, but just before I take our guest, while I'm allowing him to set up. Okay, Mr. Katch, if you're ready, just let me know. But before, while you're getting ready, let me take Emeka Azike. Please keep your submission to 3 minutes so that we don't extend, we don't talk too much here, please.
Thank you so much, boss lady. Thank you so much. The endorsement of our former president, General Olusegun Obasanjo, counters every other endorsements that have been against us, like the Soludo, the Ato Eze, and all of that. It makes nonsense of all those minor endorsements that went the other way. That's the way I look at it. And as the case of 2019 shows that Obasanjo goes for where his conscience is, not the popular side. And everybody knows what he thinks about Atiku. But that tells you how bad the Buhari administration was, the first 4 years was, that he had to support even Atiku. This is the scenario we would have had if PeterObi did not show up. We would have had to choose, according to Mazi Njenje, to choose, or was it, no, not Mazi, father of the boys, Oputa, that said that we would have been left to choose between Otapiapia and a sniper. That was what we would have. So whatever happens, we should be thankful to PeterObi for showing up and giving us a chance to have our views expressed. Otherwise, we would have been choosing between Tinubu and Atiku. Can you imagine that? choosing between somebody we know that has senile dementia, somebody we know that he is beyond the age of making a cognitive reasoning, and then choosing, and then somebody that we know that is fantastically corrupt. Choosing between a Muslim ticket, which is absolutely absolutely unacceptable even to any reasonable Muslim, and then choosing and a Fulani regime after a Fulani regime where we have 250 ethnic groups. That's against equity. So I think we are boosted. Our morale is boosted. That the voice of reason is on our side. With that, we are going into January and February full of strength and vigor, resolved to give our best for a new Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I would call this meeting to order. Please, if you're not speaking, kindly mute yourself. Once again, my name is Augusta Neka, and I am going to be your host for today. And here as our guest to discuss.
I think it will be unfair that you allow men to speak. The only woman that raised her hand. I'm sure that our Dr. Katch Ononuju will understand if we allow Dr. Vivian Okonkwo to make a comment before we call on an eminent guest. Dr. Ononuju, please allow us. Please allow Vivian Okonkwo to make a comment.
Okay, but I would ask that you keep it as brief as possible. We've spent 1 hour of people's time already. As today is New Year, people would want to sleep after all the hassle and bustle of today. So please, as brief as possible. Thank you. Vivian, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm sorry, doctor. You'll have to excuse us a bit. Let's listen to Vivian Okonkwo.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vivian Okonkwo. Yeah, I would actually want to commend Obasanjo over that, because in fact, it's high time Nigeria comes out of whatever it has been in, because, unlike most African countries, from Museveni to Mugabe, have always had this very old, ones, being there and not really doing much. And Nigeria is a country with a very great potential, and we can't afford to leave it to those septuagenarians. So if you ask me, I mean, it's high time we put in a younger person and see how it goes. All right, and Kenya did it, so I'm hopeful we're going to achieve it this February. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Thank you so much. And once again, I would like to call on our guest, Dr. Katch Ononuju. He is a party chieftain and an economist, and he's going to help us analyze the Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to Nigerians concerning the 2023 presidential election. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Can you hear me, sir? You're muted. You can kindly unmute now.
Unmute. And as I have unmuted, I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to explain. The Olusegun Obasanjo reminder to the youth. It's in reaction to the earlier display across Nigeria on the streets by the youth. So Obasanjo is telling them that he is on the same page with them, and then went forward to remind them of the reasons why they must own the country during this period. This is their own period. Leadership is passed from generations to the other. We all can see that Obasanjo is the most important agitator for Nigeria's progress. He is, as we could call, the most visible soldier for modern Nigeria. Nigerians are very grateful for his interventions, which are normally sociological, but do have strong political understandings. President Obasanjo has talked and spoken to the youth. It is not left for the youth to use time to appraise and discuss amongst themselves what President Obasanjo have said. We will not get immediate reactions. There will be a lot of reactions. We will think by 2-3 weeks, the population of youth across our country would have understood Obasanjo's words, and you see reactions. The youth will not be swayed by reactions from transactional, selfish people. We are grateful to President Obasanjo because Nigeria today is challenged. So now that senior citizens like Obasanjo are intervening to try to provide guidance as we think together and come to agreements about how we must move to achieve nationhood. Nigeria currently is a country with defined borders, but sociologically, Nigeria is not a nation. And we are happy. The challenges are currently afoot. Nigerians are pondering how to go. The youth have moved to present a position. And it is in that presentation that President Obasanjo is reacting to tell the youth, stay strong, be steadfast, sustain the ethics of your struggle. Nigeria is yours. So it's very good for what we have. These are the opening salvos in a very intelligent and interesting exchanges across Nigeria. We are grateful for Obasanjo's position. We're thankful for his intervention. Now the story is out there for everybody. So I believe President Obasanjo's intervention is welcome, it's timely, and it's very good for Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now, quickly, do you think that this endorsement later is in testament of the work and the effort that His Excellency Peter Obi has put into his campaign? Because you would remember that when he initially moved to Labour Party, most of the political elite assumed that the campaign was not going to bear any fruit. But now we are seeing the former president endorsing him. Will you say that this is a testament of his hard work and his efforts so far, especially as it relates to the election?
I would say that Peter Obi has done great work to force our appreciation of the traction to respect the traction gained by His Excellency Governor Peter Obi. This traction is the reason we are now embracing him. Peter has done very well, and we believe the struggle for control of the soul of Nigeria is right now afoot. It is good that we're having the different reactions. That's what democracy portends. Let's keep moving. PeterObi is doing very well at prison. And I'm happy for what he has brought about across country.
All right, sir. And in one of his paragraphs, he made a direct reference to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he used his slogan and said that Nigeria cannot be ruled based on my turn ideology. Now, this is one of those times when a tribal person is going against his tribal man. We have seen it happen in the Igbo culture, where we've seen some of our Igbo political elites right against the ambitions of our principal, His Excellency PeterObi. Do you think it's going to have the same backlash that these political elites are suffering? Do you think Obasanjo is going to suffer the same backlash that these political elites are suffering? And if not, why do you think so?
Well, as you can see, the PeterObi juggernaut supersedes tribal and ethnic inclinations. It's a Nigerian movement intended to seek to capture of states. And that's why I think even if they do not succeed at their ultimate intention in February 25th decisions, the movement will sustain. It's a new and down. The resilience of the movement is something I think is very, very admirable. We cannot wave away the strength that this movement has gathered. I believe that they will be able to achieve their purpose sometime in front. That's what I think.
Now, Atiku, the former vice president and the current candidate of the PDP, has said time and time again that Obi does not reflect the wishes of Nigerians. And this is not the first time we are hearing this accusation. In fact, he calls himself a unifier. I've also heard similar comments from Tinubu. Will you say that this later will do enough to alleviate the fears of the Yorubas that may not have supported Obi otherwise?
Well, in regards to this particular question, the Yorubas have been properly accommodated in that President Obasanjo was there for 8 years. Vice President Obasanjo has also been there now for 8 years. Now, it is a time to build nationhood. And I think the current intentions by Yoruba Christians, led by President Obasanjo and Chief Adebanjo, to now form an alliance in the South with the rest of the South. It's a very, very interesting development. I think we'll have to look at how far they go, because Tinubu's strength with the ACN seems to be a Yoruba Islamic alliance. I do not believe that the Muslim League in the Yoruba hinterland will succeed. I believe the Yorubas now want to move generally, to work with the Igbos, to be able to divide and deliver Nigeria on an acceptable terms. I think that indigenous people across Nigeria are now coming together to try to deliver country.
All right, so now let's talk about the man, Obasanjo himself. Since he left office in 2007, you'd agree with me that he has been chasing a Pan-Africanism legacy. From his actions since then up to this moment, you see that he has adopted a view as a Pan-African leader, interested in the overall development of the continent. Will you say that His Excellency aligns with this ideology, and that is why he's got endorsement from Obasanjo? Sorry,
Well,
did you get my question?
I think the current efforts of President Obasanjo, I will tell you, I believe are commendable because it's a very good thing. President Obasanjo seems to be working to atone for the mistakes that he was led into and also other mistakes that he committed as an adult who should have understood the Nigerian phenomenon. But it's good that President Obasanjo is currently working to try to reset Nigeria. I think we should encourage him to sustain on the path towards a reconstruction to a Nigerian where the aspirations of its diversity are protected, not the current fraud. Where are seeking to undermine the spirit of inclusion. I believe that the path being told by the government should be supported by a lot of people across the country. After 8 years of the Northern presidency, the presidency should return to the South. I believe so.
All right, thank you so much. Remember that you are still watching Newsband Television, and we are discussing Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to Nigerians concerning the 2023 presidential election. And helping us do justice to this topic is Mr. Katch Ononuju.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, we're not done with the interview, sir. Remember that you can ask a question or also make your comments using the chat box or just raising up your hand. I can see one hand. Or before we go further, let me take this hand. Mr. Joe, back to you to unmute.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. And try to make your submissions as short as possible.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank you all for all the effort we are making to realize this movement. I will touch briefly on the guy that commented, talking about Soludo's comment. I want to tell you that from onset, divinity wants Nigeria to be free from bondage. It is that divinity that...
Let me just stop you there. This conversation is strictly on this topic.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The issue of Soludo making comments, Soludo is a blessing to us. What happened? Because initially people were saying that PeterObi was Igbo project, it was this project, it was this project. So the issue of what happened from Soludo made people to understand that PeterObi is no Igbo project is Nigerian project. So that's a blessing to the movement. And now on Obasanjo's endorsement, there is no other reason why Obasanjo endorsed PeterObi other than on the principle of equity, fairness, and justice. In the science of modeling, countries are modeled using family model. You use family model is used to do anything about a country or system. So in a family, everybody who has a family in this group, in this meeting knows, if in any family that you don't have you don't have level playing ground, go to that family and find out what is happening there. So what I'm trying to say is that
your submissions in 30 minutes, round up in 30 minutes.
I'm rounding off. So Obasanjo, Afenifere, there is no other reason why they are endorsing PeterObi other than on the principle of equity, fairness, and justice. You cannot claim you want to be one and you keep on not recognizing the conglomerate of that entity. So that's what is happening. So I want to tell you that we know where we are going. And
thank you so much.
PeterObi has said that he's not standing for any tribe, he's for Nigeria. And that is why people are endorsing. Until Nigerians see mountains come up and tell them this is the way to go, they will not believe. So that is what is happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now let us take Newsband. Newsband, your hand is up.
If I may ask Dr. Katch Ononuju, please. Festus Keyamo has reacted to Obasanjo's letter this morning. And he said that the endorsement by Obasanjo will only affect Atiku badly, but has no implication or will have no effects whatsoever on Bola Tinubu in February 25 election. Do you agree with that submission by Festus Keyamo, sir?
Mr. Katch, you're muted, so if you'd kindly unmute and just react to that question.
Thank you very much. I never said the endorsement by Obasanjo will not affect Bola Tinubu.
No, it was Festus
Obasanjo's
Keyamo.
endorsement.
I said Dr. Festus Keyamo said that. Do you agree with Festus Keyamo?
The Obasanjo endorsement will affect everybody. It will affect Bola Tinubu. It will affect Atiku Abubakar. Obasanjo is a well-respected, very well-regarded witness to the ongoing Nigerian arguments. Obasanjo believes Obasanjo is correct. Obasanjo went against Goodluck Jonathan as a strategy to allow Northern Nigeria inclusion. Buhari became president. After 8 years of Buhari's presidency, Obasanjo was working to make PeterObi president because PeterObi is the best qualified. PeterObi is from Eastern Nigeria, which once we make him president, we will end all agitations and separatist movements from Southern Nigeria. Let us do the right thing. It is wrong to have 16 years of unbroken Fulani rule. Now that we are engaged in a civil war against the Tabita Polaco. The Tabita Polaco is a West African-based vigilante. It can carry out killings in Boko, in Lokoja, in Lamaburu, in Nsukka, and in Ilorin, with people who come from parts of different West African countries. When they come in, they are guided by the Miyeti Allah. Now, all that is because the Fulani seek to make Nigeria a home from all Fulanis from across the world due to the current civil war in Yemen between the Sunnis and the Shiites. We shouldn't be part of it, and we should not suffer because of it. PeterObi visited the people in the internally displaced camps, and because of that, Shegumi said there are people who want the bandits should not vote for those who will fight bandits. PeterObi will restore indigenous people back to their ancestral homes. Nigeria should come first with reconsideration from our side. And that's why I want to beg everybody to support the movement for PeterObi.
All right, thank you so much, sir. If I may kindly move back from your screen a bit. Move back from your screen, sir. Could you move back from your screen? Okay, so let's take one more question. Salfoye, your hand is up. Salfoye, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to highlight the particularly the young Nigerians when Obasanjo sort of appealing to the young Nigerians, because I think it's very, very important on this front, his appeal to the young Nigerians. So, sir, do you think this appeal to the young Nigerians will sort of, be heard by the young Nigerians? Because I don't think he's of the same sort of age or the same sort of, time. Because from my own reading of it, I think he is actually trying to absolve himself in a way in terms of posterity, his legacy, what he has left, that he tried, even if it didn't work, that he tried to, hand over a better Nigeria before he leaves this world. So do you think that his appeal to the young Nigerians will penetrate this time? Thank you.
Sir, you're muted. Mr. Ononuju, you're muted. Could you unmute?
Okay, yes. You must recognize it took a lot of work to create PeterObi. PeterObi is now the icon that must serve us in our intentions to recreate Nigeria. But before we must do that, we have to take it back. As I speak to you, Nigeria is just a country. It is not yet a nation. Nigeria must become a nation for us to guide it, to do things in our own interests. Nigeria has a lot of bad people who have seized the country, and the legalistic instrument that control nationhood. That's why PeterObi said, take back your country. It is good for all of us to walk through the election period to take back our country. Once we win the election, through efforts that I believe are currently inevitable. We'll take over the country and we will now start to revert to the constitution. Allow only what is allowed by law to become implementable. It is sad that our country currently is like a kidnapped enterprise. And we're telling you the way to take it back is by participating heavily at the election for next month. I have no doubt we will do it, we will achieve it, we have capacity to achieve it. Let it be that we tried. And then history will say we succeeded or that we failed. But let not be that we didn't do anything. So we now have the month of Take Back Country. That's why we're doing what we're doing. The PeterObi movement is a platform for all of us to participate to take back our country. We see we're achieving it. Everybody sees that we're doing so much. We're standing up to be counted. And I believe your efforts will become successful. What I will tell you on behalf of my client is continue to do what you're doing, for victory is right beside the corner for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take our last contributor today, and after that we'll round up. So sorry, could you mute yourself, because I think where you are is quite noisy. Dr. Morris Okoli. Dr. Morris, you can unmute. Dr. Morris, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody that is in the platform. My question goes like this. For revolution to take place, there must be a revolutionary situation. I think Nigeria is very close to that situation. And that revolution is being powered by the youth. It's a peaceful revolution, a bloodless revolution. What will happen if the entrenched interest in Nigeria or the old guard subvert this revolution powered by the youth? Do the youth have plan B? Or will they fold their hand and see how the effort is subverted or thwarted? That's my question.
Dr. Katch, kindly unmute. Okay, let's take the last person, and so you can just respond to both questions at the same time. I can see Ms. Emanuela Oyagiri.
The youth,
could you wait so that you take the last person and then we take your final comment so we can close?
Okay, no problem. I'm waiting.
Okay. Emanuela Oyagiri, your hand is up. I've asked you to go ahead, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I have a short question. Previously, I think it was Mr. Olusegun said that he gave a breakdown of all the people that Obasanjo had endorsed, starting from Yara all the way to Goodluck Jonathan, then to and then he said every single person that was endorsed except Atiku. And he said a lot of people would argue that Atiku actually won the election, but people said it was rigged. So my question is, now that Obasanjo has endorsed PeterObi, what is to say that history will not repeat itself? That when he endorsed, and then a lot of the Souths, like sir, you so pointed that the South is trying to bring the South be rigged again, and everything will just be put to naught. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ononuju. You can now respond to the two questions at once. You can unmute.
Okay, I am here. I want to say that what Obasanjo is trying to do in totality is simple. He was one of the elders who engineered the country's transition after the Civil War. He is now trying to say that he does not agree with what some people are trying to insinuate should be the totality of the Nigeria all of us know. So what Obasanjo is doing is totally welcome. He is saying that the Igbos should, in the issue of nation building, as they saw after the Civil War, is a situation where the Igbos are included in the scheme of things. And now that they have a candidate that is the best amongst all, Nigeria should embrace PeterObi. PeterObi is not only an electoral asset for Nigerians, PeterObi is also the candidate we need to use to bring a closure to the Civil War and reunite Nigeria. So I agree. Mrs. Obasanjo's political undertones are welcome. And I think we should embrace it, understudy it for those of us who are confused about the messages in it, and then rebuild our country and put everything back together so that we can move on and achieve nationhood. Nigeria currently is a country with legally recognized borders, but we are not yet a nation. You become a nation when the members agree on an emotional direction for advantage of the general pool. We need to work towards nationhood in Nigeria. Thank you.
And that's as much as we can take on today's edition of the Newsman exclusive interview.
Hello, what of my question? He did not answer my question.
Okay, could you just repeat it so that he can take it?
My question is that for revolution to take place, there must be a revolutionary situation. And I think Nigeria is close to that revolutionary situation. And the people are the vanguard of this peaceful revolutionary are youth. What will happen if the effort of youth is subverted or thwarted by the entrenched interest or old guard? Do the youth have plan B? If they have, what is that plan B?
Okay. Mr. Ononuju, if you have a response to that. Sir, you are muted.
We are not hearing him.
Yes, he is muted, so I've just asked him to unmute. Sir, could you hear us?
Yes, I am with you. The current crisis across Nigeria and in terms of the understanding of the reality of Nigerian youth is P2B. The youth agree that P2B should be employed to become the face of their masquerade. Now, there is a youth-driven masquerade across Nigeria, and we believe the elders are succumbing to it. Currently, the political contractors, which generally you call the transactional elite, are having arguments about the way forward. But I believe that the current revolution by the youth will seize the space and enthrone P2B as the latest of the goals of Nigeria's political process. I believe that to be so.
Okay, and if I should also react to that last question. Now, one of the core values of the P2B support network, whom I also represent, is that we are going to do our possible best to make sure that Obi wins this election. Like I said in the beginning, this election is ours to lose. We have everything it takes to make sure that this election, we take our principle to Asurok. Now, if by any chance, by design, by hook or by crook, that does not work and that plan fails, depending on the outing of P2B, we will take it as a win. It's not for us to get demoralized. It's for us to understand that the next 4 years is also another wonderful chance for us to still exercise our voting power and our political prowess. Our point is we have defeated the system. We have brought somebody that we believed in. He went to a party that was seemingly non-existent, and he has built structure from nothing. And he's going head to head with people that have been in the system for over 30 years and have contested elections, in some cases 5 times, and in some cases that have planned elections for over 23, 24 years. So depending on the outing that we have come February 25th, we would consider it a win. So even if the off chance we don't win this election, I think Nigerian youth understands and are politically literate enough to know that we're not defeated, that is just a setback, and we can go back, we strategize and do better in the next 4 years, in the next 8 years. Our point is to show that candidates can win based on merit, based on competence, and based on what they have to offer, and not necessarily based on political party. Once we have made that point known, we would say that is a win for the NSAS generation. That's just a follow-up to what our guest said. And also speaking to the other question, let me just say that the Obasanjo's endorsement, even though that it may not have worked in the case of Atiku versus Buhari, we all know what Nigeria political system is like. We all know that an endorsement later is not enough to overturn the table, but is a start and is a driving force. And that's what we have now. We have something that can motivate the Southerners, that can motivate especially the grassroots in the South that respect the former president Olusegun Obasanjo to support his candidate. And that's all we're asking. We're asking for every support. And we're saying that we'll keep doing our best, we'll keep pushing, we'll keep making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's to make sure we win this election. If by any means these elections are rigged, we'll know that the endorsement data is just a factor. It's not the only thing that can make or break an election. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of today's exclusive interview. We have been discussing Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to Nigerians concerning the 2023 election. And special thanks to our guest, Dr. Katch Ononuju. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It's a privilege to hear you speak. And also thank you to everybody that contributed to this interview.